With the special town meeting rapidly approaching, the discussion around the potential adoption of a specialized energy code is gaining momentum. This code promotes all electric buildings without an outright ban on fossil fuels. However, new constructions using fossil fuels would require on-site solar installations and wiring for a future all-electric transition. As municipal producer Yu Xiaoyuan reports, this has sparked differing opinions among community members, with some advocating for further scrutiny while others emphasize the importance of environmental benefits.
On October 4th, the Finance Committee voted 8-1 against recommending the adoption to town meeting this year. James Healy voiced his reservations at the meeting on September 27th. Citing the lack of detailed information regarding the costs associated with new homes built to comply with the code.
I just have a hard time trying to move forward with something when I don't know what the monetary impact to the residents.
Deputy Town Manager Katie King offered her insights after reviewing an analysis provided by the Massachusetts Department of Energy Resources.
On the whole, their analysis is that it's generally equivalent costs to build in most cases, not all, but it's less cost over time to maintain those buildings.
Right. So you talk about experience, over time. We don't know what over time is going to be because we only have 4 weeks of time or 4 months of time.
Healy was referring to the fact that among the approximately 20 communities that have adopted the new code, it has only been implemented in 4 since July. Building houses using fossil fuels under the new code can incur additional costs due to the installation of solar panels and pre-wiring. Climate Action Plan Committee member Joe Higgins said this upfront investment represents a relatively minor increase.
When you look at the analysis, there's incentives from the state for electrifying. There's incentives for putting PV on your house. And I think that when you look at the DOER link that we put in your package about, what that analysis is, as you read through that, it's a sea of variables, but this isn't like it's 10% more or 20% more. This is like, we're talking about very, very small single digits, if anything, of, adding an additional panel size to the house, pre-wiring. That's the time to do it when you're building it.
Committee member John Connolly also expressed concerns regarding Eversource's capacity to handle the increasing electrification.
I'm concerned about that aspect of it and how, with all good intentions and everyone trying to comply, we're relying on, a group that's outside of our control entirely, who might make this even more difficult and timely and costly than it would be.
This concern was echoed by local contractors at the Select Board public hearing on October 10th. Studying their experiences with delays and costs related to transformer upgrades. Back in April, the Climate Action Plan Committee invited representatives from Eversource to discuss this matter. We spoke to Committee Chair Stephen Friel, who said regardless of the new code, transformer upgrades might occur for new houses in Needham due to their larger sizes.
What Eversource told us is that on the transmission to the substation level, Needham is actually in really good shape. In fact, the general sense that we had was that for the next 20 or so years at least, we have plenty of capacity for an all-electric transition in town. At the poles, there's a little bit more uncertainty. Most people in their homes today have 100 amp service and 200 amp service. Many of the larger homes going in today are going in with 400 amp service. And so those are the new homes that are being built. And so with even without the specialized code, these 400 amp services are being required. And in some cases, that requires Eversource to upgrade those transformers, which can take several months.
Instead of postponing adoption, Friel suggests that efforts should be channeled towards advocating for grid modernization. He also noted some statewide progress is already underway.
The state did just require the utilities to put forward grid modernization plans. So just in the past month or so, all 3 of the major utilities have come forward with plans to modernize, and the state has put roughly about $500 million into those grid modernization plans.
There is a prevailing sentiment among most of Finance Committee members that the community has not been given sufficient time to process the information.
I still don't think that we've, at least to my satisfaction, really got a good handle on what the cost implications are going to be, both to ourselves and our town buildings and our future town buildings, and then to the residents who would be implicated by this. That information is important and appropriate and needs to be vetted out, and I don't want to rush into doing that. I'm also concerned with sort of the lack of broader community engagement, with respect to community meetings about this. I understand the internal work has been done by the committee, but I don't think enough outreach has been done to the community. I'd like to see that take place.
However, Joshua Levy, who cast the lone vote in support of adoption, argued the environmental benefits outweigh the risks, especially considering the adoption can be reversed.
There is still some uncertainty with the costs, but we will learn over time. And if it is detrimental for some reason, we can always roll back.
The Select Board plans to vote on their position on October 24th. Board Chair Marion Cooling emphasized at the close of the public hearing that in 2021, town meeting overwhelmingly endorsed a resolution to declare a climate emergency. For Lindom Channel News, I'm Yu Xiaoyuan.